The United States is in the grip of an historic cold snap. Temperatures have plummeted to record lows across much of the country. From the northern plains to the southeast, the chill is being felt by millions. This deep freeze is not merely an inconvenience, it is a potentially dangerous weather event. We need to understand the forces at play. This cold snap is not just about low temperatures, it is also about wind chill. The wind chill makes the air feel much colder than the actual temperature. This can lead to frostbite and hypothermia. It is essential to take precautions and stay warm. This record-breaking event has disrupted daily life. Schools and businesses are closed, flights are grounded, the power grid is strained, the cold is affecting everyone. Understanding the science behind this weather phenomenon can help us prepare for future events. This essay will delve into the science behind this historic cold snap. We will explore the factors contributing to this extreme weather event. We will also discuss its potential impact and the importance of preparedness. At the heart of this deep freeze lies a phenomenon known as an Arctic outbreak. This event is not just a simple cold spell, it is a complex meteorological occurrence that can have far-reaching impacts on weather patterns, ecosystems, and human activities. Imagine the Arctic as a giant freezer holding frigid air within a swirling vortex. This vortex, known as the polar vortex, is a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding the Earth's poles. It is always present, but it weakens in the summer and strengthens in the winter. Sometimes this freezer door swings open, allowing the icy air to spill southward. This can happen due to a variety of factors, including disruptions in the polar vortex or changes in atmospheric pressure patterns. This is precisely what's happening now. The Arctic air has broken free from its usual confines and is making its way down to lower latitudes, bringing with it a wave of freezing temperatures and winter weather. A powerful surge of Arctic air has descended upon the United States, bringing with it bone-chilling temperatures. This cold air mass can lead to a variety of hazardous conditions, including frostbite, hypothermia, and dangerous travel conditions due to ice and snow. This southward push of Arctic air is driven by large-scale changes in atmospheric pressure. These changes can be influenced by a number of factors, including the position of the jet stream, ocean temperatures, and even solar activity. High-pressure systems, characterized by sinking air, have built up over the Arctic. These high-pressure systems act like a lid, trapping the cold air beneath them and preventing it from escaping. Meanwhile, low-pressure systems with their rising air have developed over the lower latitudes. These low-pressure systems create a sort of vacuum, drawing the cold Arctic air southward. This pressure difference creates a pressure gradient force. The greater the difference in pressure, the stronger the force, and the faster the air moves. Air always moves from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure. This movement of air is what we experience as wind, and in the case of an Arctic outbreak, it is a very cold wind indeed. Think of it like squeezing a tube of toothpaste. When you apply pressure to the toothpaste is forced out. Similarly, the high pressure over the Arctic is like squeezing the tube, forcing the toothpaste, or in this case, the frigid air, to flow southward. The high pressure over the Arctic is like squeezing the tube, forcing the toothpaste, or in this case, the frigid air, to flow southward. This movement of cold air can have significant impacts on weather patterns far from the Arctic itself. This flow of Arctic air is further enhanced by the jet stream. The jet stream is a fast-flowing river of air high in the atmosphere that can steer weather systems and influence temperature patterns. The jet stream is a fast-flowing river of air high in the atmosphere. It acts as a barrier between cold Arctic air and warmer air to the south. When the jet stream is strong and stable, it keeps the cold air confined to the Arctic. It acts as a barrier between cold Arctic air and warmer air to the south. However, when the jet stream weakens or shifts southward, as it has in recent days, it allows the Arctic air to penetrate much farther south than usual. However, when the jet stream weakens or shifts southward, as it has in recent days, it allows the Arctic air to penetrate much farther south than usual. This can lead to dramatic changes in weather patterns, including sudden and severe drops in temperature. The result is a dramatic plunge in temperatures and the onset of an Arctic outbreak. These outbreaks can last for days or even weeks, causing significant disruptions to daily life and posing serious risks to health and safety. Understanding the anatomy of an Arctic outbreak helps us better prepare for and respond to these extreme weather events. The term polar vortex has been swirling around news cycles as frequently as the Arctic air itself. This term has become a staple in weather reports, especially during the harsh winter months when its effects are most felt. But what exactly is this meteorological phenomenon? Many people hear the term but don't fully understand what it entails. The polar vortex is a large area of low pressure and cold air that surrounds both of Earth's poles. It is a crucial component of our planet's climate system. It's a permanent feature of our planet's atmospheric circulation. This means that the polar vortex is always present, though its intensity and impact can vary. However, the polar vortex is not static. It is a dynamic system that is constantly changing. It constantly expands and contracts, and its shape can become distorted. These changes can have significant impacts on weather patterns across the globe. During the winter months, the polar vortex in the northern hemisphere strengthens and contracts. This is a natural response to the seasonal changes in temperature and sunlight. This is due to the reduced sunlight and the increasing temperature difference between the equator and the pole. As the sun's rays become less direct, the polar regions cool down significantly. The polar vortex acts like a spinning top, keeping the coldest air bottled up around the Arctic. This containment of cold air is crucial for maintaining the balance of our climate. However, sometimes this spinning top can become wobbly. When this happens, the stability of the polar vortex is compromised. When the polar vortex weakens, it can split into two or more smaller vortices. These smaller vortices can travel away from the poles, bringing cold air with them, or it can elongate and extend southward, much like a stretched rubber band. This elongation can cause cold air to move into regions that are typically milder. When this happens, the jet stream, which normally flows in a relatively straight path from west to east, can become wavier. These waves can have a profound impact on weather patterns. These waves in the jet stream can allow pockets of frigid Arctic air to break free from the polar vortex and surge southward. This can lead to sudden and severe cold snaps in regions unaccustomed to such extreme temperatures. This is what is contributing to the current cold wave in the United States. The unusual movement of the polar vortex has brought Arctic air deep into the country. A weakened and distorted polar vortex has allowed Arctic air to escape and plunge southward, bringing with it record-breaking cold temperatures. This phenomenon underscores the interconnectedness of our planet's climate systems and the far-reaching impacts of changes in the polar regions. While the polar vortex plays a significant role in this cold weather outbreak, it's not the only actor on the atmospheric stage. The polar vortex, a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding the Earth's poles, is a key player, but it works in concert with other atmospheric phenomena to create the weather patterns we experience. Other factors such as blocking patterns and the Arctic Oscillation are also contributing to the severity and duration of this event. These elements interact in complex ways, influencing each other and the overall weather system. The Arctic Oscillation, for instance, is a climate pattern that can either amplify or mitigate the effects of the polar vortex depending on its phase. Blocking patterns, as their name suggests, can block the normal flow of weather systems. These patterns occur when high-pressure systems become stationary over a particular region, much like a stubborn boulder in a river. This can lead to prolonged periods of unusual weather, as the blocked systems are unable to move along their typical paths. These patterns occur when high-pressure systems become stationary over a particular region, much like a stubborn boulder in a river. The high-pressure system acts as a barrier, preventing other weather systems from passing through. This can result in extended periods of cold or warm weather, depending on the season and the specific atmospheric conditions. In the current situation, a strong area of high pressure over northern Canada and the Arctic is acting as a blocking pattern. This high-pressure system is effectively trapping cold air in the region, preventing it from dispersing and allowing it to build up over time. This contributes to the severity of the cold weather outbreak we are experiencing. This blocking pattern is preventing the jet stream from following its usual west-to-east path. The jet stream, a fast-flowing ribbon of air high in the atmosphere, typically guides weather systems across the globe. When its path is disrupted, it can lead to significant changes in weather patterns. Instead, the jet stream is being forced to dip southward, allowing the Arctic air to spill into the United States. This southward dip creates a pathway for the cold air to move much further south than it normally would, bringing frigid temperatures to regions unaccustomed to such extremes. The Arctic Oscillation is another factor influencing this cold snap. This climate pattern is characterized by changes in atmospheric pressure over the Arctic and the surrounding areas. It can have a profound impact on weather patterns, particularly in the northern hemisphere. The Arctic Oscillation is a climate pattern characterized by changes in atmospheric pressure over the Arctic and the surrounding areas. When the Arctic Oscillation is in its positive phase, it tends to keep the cold air confined to the polar regions. However, when it shifts to its negative phase, as it is now, the cold air is allowed to move southward, leading to more frequent and severe cold air outbreaks. When the Arctic Oscillation is in its negative phase, as it is now, it's associated with a weaker polar vortex and more frequent cold air outbreaks over the mid-latitudes. This negative phase disrupts the usual atmospheric circulation patterns, allowing cold air to escape from the polar regions and move into lower latitudes. The combination of a weakened polar vortex, a blocking pattern, and a negative Arctic Oscillation is creating a perfect storm for record-breaking cold temperatures. These interacting factors are amplifying each other's effects, leading to an extended period of extreme cold that is breaking records and challenging our understanding of weather patterns. This symphony of atmospheric players demonstrates the complexity and interconnectedness of our planet's climate system.